Today is a special day because we have a very senior retired Army officer with us. Hello, everybody. Good to be back. Right now, we have with us Brigadier Jayant Tiwari. Excuse me, Jayant Tiwari. Let's listen to him. Over to you, Brigadier.
Yeah, hello. My greetings to everyone across the globe. Of course, I'm at India. This is almost around 6 p.m. in the evening. And my greetings to everyone as per their time zones. I extend my sincere gratitude to Mr. Subodh, basically for two reasons specifically. One is having got this opportunity to share my experience, my views, my wisdom of certain decades, certain years. And hopefully it should be of some use to the humanity. But second is more important. And important is because of this concept of the conversational style, wherein the guest or the speaker is told to speak whatever he or she wants to speak. Now, it might sound comfortable than the standing norms. And the standing norms are generally that it is formatted, certain questions, and then the speaker replies and gives his clarifications or experiences. But here, when I was given this, I will use the word instruction, though it is not in that form. But yes, it almost appeared to me that I can speak anything. It is your wish. I have been trying to be on the public platform to speak, but I thought that this actually forced me to get into thinking as to what should I speak. And this is where I love this point. I think this is a very unique phenomenon where how much we know about ourselves and how much we can express ourselves. You know, my life may be 60 years, 50 years, 20 years, that's okay. But how much and what is of significance? That's very important. And that is where I said that, my mind went to think, what should I speak? How much I should speak? Will it be of use to anyone? Will it be of value to someone? And that's where I gave this as a very important facet. And that credit goes to Mr. Subodh, highly accomplished person. And thank you, sir, for giving me that input to think about myself. I think I'm taking it in that perspective. And I'll certainly attempt to see that. Well, to start this, I would like to put it across to everyone. I'm in 64th year of my existence, of my life. I have just completed 63 years, so I'll count to 63 years. And it has been wonderful. I always speak from my perspective, my wisdom. These are all naturally 6 decades over. I always say that this is the life which has been given to me, and I'm blessed with this life. Jayant Tiwari or Brigadier Jayant Tiwari may be just one identity, but I felt that life is a very important phenomenon which needs to be understood. At least I felt it that. And why so? I say in life there are two realities or real facts. One is that I was born on this date. And there is one date certainly that this is the date on which so-and-so passed away. I think these are the two dates which remain firm with any life. And that's how we define the life period also. But the beauty or the tragedy or comedy, the way you look at it, is that I had not seen my birth.
No.
I'll also not see my death.
No.
So the beauty is, so what am I, of course, thinking about my life?
Yeah.
Is it my life or this life has been given to me? When I see from the nature or cosmos perspective, I suppose the life has been given to me. And that's where the point comes into play in the mind that if I've been blessed to be in this domain of as a human being and blessed to be having maybe 60 years, 70 years, 80 years, whatever life frame is there, am I not supposed to live up to this expectation of the nature through this life period? And that's where probably various terminologies, phrases are there. purpose of life and meaning to life. I don't want to get into those things. They are little high sounding phrases. I personally take it. But I wanted to derive that lesson that, this life is probably as a gift to us, just a part. And I'm a player which had been interested by nature to play that role. So in 63 years, I'll just divide this part into comfortably into three parts. First part will be around 19, 20 years of age, in which period I was probably, one grows up from the household and grows to peers in school and in college. You meet a whole lot of people. You are imbibing a lot of things, possibly a lot of conflicts, a lot of challenges, a lot of curiosity develops into that. And probably you are also getting defined as to which direction I must go. So this is one part of my life where till the time when I was in college. And the second part was naturally almost for the 4 decades, or I'll put it simply that 38 years or 39 years when I had in my proper career as such. That was a military career. And so this makes around 58 years. And after that, 4.5 to 5 years period, which I'm now. Before I start, dwelling on these three parts and how important have been my life is, I wanted to bring out that this is my probably knowingness or awareness that in various parts of life, internally, we keep thinking, we keep wisdomizing, I'll put it across that word. Certain kind of a wisdom remains in our heart at every stage of life. And certain thoughts come up. It might not be understood, very deep subconscious, it might remain. Sometimes it might come out. It has happened in my life at various stages. It has taken, and the cycle has remained, and I have correlated from the first to the second to the third part of my life. Yeah. So that's where I personally feel when in the villages, in our native places, earlier people used to say, and now of course people are saying that if you want to do well, be at least in company of good 5 people.
Yeah.
And earlier times people would say, be in a good company. Child, okay, go and stroll in the fresh air, respect everyone, respect elderly. So these are the things which are there. And so that is how, when you are into that sort of an environment, probably your thought process also gets streamlined. Subconsciously, you're thinking, you're observing. Your observation style becomes like that. Otherwise, when you are moving on a roadside, what you observe, I may not observe. What I observe, you may not observe. And that is where probably we get defined. I'm driving a vehicle and I'm going across, and suddenly I come back. Later on in the evening, something's come into my head that I saw something like that. These are all I personally want. This is my experience that it is how you define yourself, thought. And people had put it across that, your thoughts lead you to take an action, and action leads you to, repeated action becomes a habit, and repeated habit becomes a behavior, and behavior becomes your character. People say so-and-so is like this, and probably your character becomes a destiny. So simple one thought, which formulated somewhere. So I think we need to define that. And I have very strongly belief in this. Second issue is that life, as I mentioned, it is a blissful part which we all need to respect and understand. It is just not like that. And another thing which I'll be covering, why I'm saying this, because I'll be shortly covering up these parts, awareness and the judgment. When we are growing up, we are actually in a society by nature, we keep judging in our every statement. So-and-so like this, said like this. And we are more, actually outwardly, we are trying to see that. Our life remains around that. How much? And today is like a self-awareness. When I was told to speak whatever you wish to speak, I think here is that, we need to speak much more. And I think that's where the awareness question comes into play. Experience and the usefulness in that domain as to how can I really crystallize it to an absolute clear form of input, or is it laden with some judgment? And we live with our identities, of course. Identity can be defined in a very manner. But I think I personally felt that if we have to move on in life, we have to create our identities. I'm not saying that you carry out a change every day. Today, people say that Jayant Tiwari is this today and tomorrow is this. No, not that way. The basic core instinct values probably remain same. But if I remain stuck that I'm a small example, if I remain stuck that I retired as a Brigadier Jayant Tiwari and I'm there, well, it is a well-earned title by the government of India, and it is authorized format where my name is written like this, Brigadier Jayant Tiwari Shaurya. So it is not my happiness, it is the government has given me that. And one feels privileged being a soldier. But I felt that, you know what, is it the end all? Is it the end all? And what is the offshoot of this? It is not that I want to drop it, but what is further to this? And that is where I say that a very old saying is there, change is the only constant.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, we are all formed in the process of evolution. We are all, this we need to understand. And we are part of the nature, whatever level you want to see it. And we are all growing. If a mango tree does not shed its fruit, the next year probably it will not come out.
Right.
Or any flower, or, you know, any farmland, you know, crops or something like that. Things have to be rotative. It has to keep moving. Weather conditions change. Situations change, and things keep moving. It is not that the system stops at that. So that is a very important lesson from the nature. I love, of course, nature. I go to my village and stay there. I really enjoy being there. It's highly rejuvenating when I see my plants growing. Of course, you have to be there in the sun. You have to sweat quite a lot, but it's so pleasurable. It's so pleasurable. So that's why it is that change is the only constant.
Sorry. Could I just stop you for a minute? Because I think you need to tell the viewers that you were born in a village, because not everybody is, and you are, and that's why you are going back to the village, but you never told us that you were born there, which I now know. So please talk a little bit about that before you continue.
Yes, certainly. So of course, my father was, of course, in army. He is no more. And I had my education all across the nation, wherever he got transferred. But in a year, at least twice, we used to go back to my village. My roots are still existing in village, and I am from a state known as Bihar, and northern portion. It is, my house is reasonably closer to Nepal border, and we have little landed property. We still, I love to be called, though people don't call me as a farmer, but I love to be called that I'm a farmer. I think that's a basic quality which I always felt. Yeah. And earlier days, we used to have 2 months of a summer vacation, you know, between 2 years classes. We used to spend full 2 months in our village. And that's where probably my thought processes, my binding towards village remained. And my parents are no more. And I being the elder sibling, I have maintained that area. I'm trying to, you know, be there. It's a wonderful place. And that village area, it has a different dynamics. The nature is there, the people are there, different kinds of people. Of course, there is a lot of transformation changes have taken place in the village. And I do my little bit of farming, not directly, but there are people who do it. I have some orchards. So we generally go, I go around 3 times in a year, you know, spread like February, March, May, June, July. I just returned from my village after spending a month or so doing. Of course, it was a very hot summer, but it's quite pleasurable there. It's what you actually enjoy. What are you valuing? That's more important. And I loved sweating in that heat. People, my friend circle, they said, "Come on." I said, "No, it is what you are looking forward to. You may not like it. I may not like it somewhere else, but I like it in my village, yes. And I go in the winter months and all. So this is where it is. I thought that the change was the last point I wanted to bring out. That this certainly, it leads to options, versatility. It also adds on to your vulnerabilities. It creates something. It leads to all sorts of qualities into that. And that's how the life has been. So I'll take on to my the last part of my life first. For last 5 years, when I retired in 2019 from Army, I was in a combat arm. I'm from Gurkha Rifles. You know, various kinds of regiments are there. Combat arms is the fighting arms, and I'm from infantry. And in infantry, I'm from Gurkha Rifles. Mm-hmm. And so I lived up there, and Gurkhas are, I suppose, globally well-known soldiers.
Yes.
I'm, of course, all soldiers are equally, but everyone has a different tribe. So having superannuated 2019, I was the person who was wanting to work and not sit and maybe end up my day in playing golf. So I said I applied, I got 2, 3 good jobs. But just before joining, probably my mind was not in a great state. I didn't join them. And today, in the circle, when I am as a professional speaker, I am as a coach, I am as a mentor to corporate people. I do a certain degree of mentorship at various levels of leadership. I did International Coach Federation training for the leadership. And so I call, or my system calls ourselves as an InnerMost shift coaches. We assist people actually in creating innermost shift in them. And we believe that we all have that abundance. If a thought has generated in my mind, I also have the answer. So that was the thing. People ask me that, sir, you were in army, you are a combat leader, reasonably senior officer. I think people feel that you have been into that ordering hierarchical structure. How come you have come down to become a coach, which is more predominantly a listener?
Yeah.
I said, wonderful. I said, good. I said, yes. When I came out, I even today I say that I was in a little reasonably confused state. Now, people may feel that, at 58 years of age and so much of service, a person saying that I was or I am in a confused state. I said this confusion is basically because there is a desire, there's a burning desire to do something different, something more. And I'm trying to search for something like that. And the confusion is not that perspective. It is basically that I'm not wanting to take what is easily coming to me, probably. And I think this has been offshoot of my military career, I suppose. That whenever you make a plan, if a plan seems very feasible option, the seniors will say, no, no, it's not there. Let's think something different. Something which the other party, other mind should not be able to think about it. Maybe possibly. So I went on to do something corporate trainership, then employability mentorship. I was not very comfortable. And then I came across this coaching. It actually gelled that, where that you are only assisting, you are only listening, you are not advising anything. You are only questioning, reflective questioning, and you are assisting the other person to find their own answers. It may be strategy, tactics, business, whatever domain. It was very, very profound. And I suppose, Mr. Subodh, today's talk, when you told me that go ahead and speak whatever you feel like, I think it is almost similar, I suppose, though
Yeah,
it wasn't so
listening.
easy to me. So, but I think when we give that option, our minds start thinking about it. So it loved it. And what has happened that I define it that I'm in a process of awareness zone. Probably I'm into a zone of awareness. I think my life has come to a place where I'm now, people say that, at various, I think 4 stages when we were child, we are not knowing that I'm not knowing.
Yeah.
Very child. And then we come into a stage where I start knowing that I'm not knowing when,
Yeah.
adult says or not. And then probably it comes up, I know that I know.
Yeah.
And then you go into a stage that I know that I do not know.
Yes.
So it is that, of course, that's a very far-fetched stage. It is not that I'm reaching there or I'm dreaming to reach there. But probably I feel that, yes, going through my life, I'm wanting to see, and what am I doing today actually? I have not been a voracious reader, but in last 4 years, I think my passion has been reading. So there has been a lot of transformation in me. I'm reading on all varied subjects as to why I used to do like this. Why people used to say that do it, you can do it. What is motivation and how I did it? Because in army, we did it. I never heard leadership words, terminologies in 4 decades, the amount what I heard in last 4 years. Everyone talks about leadership. Nothing special, but I'm just saying I tried to correlate. I also heard the word mindfulness.
Yeah.
I said, wonderful. So I did some little studies and I got engaged with certain people to learn more about it. I realized that, the army is nothing but the mindfulness. Now, I had to explain people. So what I'm trying to say, that this part of my life is actually, when you actually squeeze everything and the juice comes out, I think this is the finer aspect of what my life has been. And this is what I'm refining. And as a coach, I, of course, deal with people. I'm there with certain NGOs, and I do one-to-one and those issues which are there. Certain young students, they come up, they always come back and ask me, sir, you must be charging here. I say, yeah, please. It's not a question of charging or not charging. It is, I enjoy. If you feel happy, I'm actually trying to probably figure out myself, that am I able to really, I'm reaching that awareness zone or not? Am I able to be assist you in a manner that your face becomes little blissful, gloomy? I think that's what it is. Rest is not so important. Things will come up from here or there or something like that. So that is how the approach has been. So I'm today, of course, a full-time coach. I do mentorship, I do public speaking engagements, and I do engage with a lot of NGOs and all also, wherever it is there. I have not purposely picked up a domain where I remain stuck with certain company or organizations, probably because I thought that I need to be at a beck and call of my wife's. I say, when she says that, of course, she knows that I'm busy, she remains quiet, but she comes up and say, Jayant, tomorrow should be, how are you placed? I say, I'm perfectly fine, because I know that she has something in mind. So I said, yes. So I always give that, that's the first priority in life, because I think that's a very important facet of my being. It is not that I'm trying to, I try and manage both the things. So family life, I think, has been very important, because maybe because a lot of separation in our lives have been there, and because of being in the combat zone. So it is a very blissful, I have felt myself as a transformed, and this is the thought process which took me to remain constantly in a change, to create a change, to find yourself. And today, when I give talks, sometimes I say that, please come to me. People say that, what do you do, sir? I said, I only assist you to find yourself.
Yeah.
He said, what? I said, no, I cannot make you find yourself, but I can only assist you a little bit, because I'm still trying to, search what more and what more. I said, this beautiful phenomenon. It's not that we do not know, but I think there is much more. So this was my third part as a first portion. I'll go to the first part. When I was in school, I remember one incident. I was, I think, in class 5, and my father was posted somewhere in the Western sector. And that time, those days, class teachers used to tell you to write maybe a letter to your father as to what you want to become in life.
Yes.
To write a letter to your father, and it was in a language Hindi, local language.
Yes.
So we all wrote 2-3 lines, class 5 children, and we submitted the notebook to the class teacher. Class teacher, I think, came back before the classes got over, and he told me openly that, okay, call your father tomorrow. He didn't know. I didn't know as to for what. So naturally, my classmates, they all, started saying that you must have done something wrong. What did you do? But I was absolutely a good boy, I think. Probably there might have been little adulteration by virtue of experience later on in life. But that time I feel that I was absolutely disciplined and a very good boy. I said, nothing doing. I've not done anything. There was nothing, no problem in my mind. I came back and told my mom. I said, mother, my class teacher had asked my father, dad, to, come to her. She also asked the same thing. I hope everything's fine. Did you do any mischief? I said, no. Anyway, father came, and she would have told father. And father, came up to me later on. And he very politely said, am I supposed to come tomorrow? I said, yes. He said, anything? I said, I don't know. He just told me that. Okay. And father never questioned me. I came back to school next day. And next day, after quite some time, I see my father and my class teacher coming into the classroom. And naturally, there was little hussar sounds amongst the students. And okay. And the class teacher opens my notebook. And he said, yesterday, I told all of you to write a letter as to what you want to become in your life. And this is what, and he gave me my notebook. He said, read it. It's okay. And it was, I think, 3-4 lines or something like that. And something, words to that effect. I written that, I feel that I want to become a soldier in Indian Army. And I want to lead my life for the nation, even at the cost of sacrificing my life.
Oh.
So, these words were there actually. And I think that last part of the word caught the attention of my class teacher. He said, how did you write it? I said, I don't know. Maybe that I was in a military environment, maybe that I don't know how it is there. Not that, we were in an access to a lot of things because we were young children. So anyway, that thing remained. What I'm trying to say that later on I came to join army. In between, I was a science student. I was in a botany, zoology in college, I wanted to do my maybe research into microbiology or something gene. I used to read a lot of books onto that. But suddenly we appeared for our exams, competitive exams, and we cleared for getting into the army training as an officer. And there was a little, I said to father, I said, both our options are good, but I was thinking also this. He said, it's your call, but it's a very good, if you're not wanting, don't go. But if you're wanting, go, it's wonderful. And yes, I said, no, I love this also. So as a probably young mind, I went. So what I'm trying to say that, there was something was there and the system, of course, took you there. And I went to a combat arm, and this portion of studying microbiology, it remained because, almost for 4 decades, one was there. And today, what I'm doing, Mr. Subodh, I can share that, today I'm reading on the cell. As to why my entire, there's a book, Biology of Belief.
Yes.
On molecules of emotion. Biology of Belief by, I think, Bruce Lipton. So they have actually scientifically proved that your belief actually is actually your, the way you believe, your biology gets, and this is being used like placebo effect, people call it. So, like molecules of emotions, your, molecules get controlled, their activities get controlled. Or when you do like laughter clubs, today we have it. You do certain activity and you can control your cells, tissues and all. So it was very interesting. I read it that why it happens like that. So what I'm saying, that some point of time I had an interest in getting into microbiology or something. Today, of course, I'm probably ended up reading that. So what I'm saying that, the life is something, what you think somewhere, if you are very passionate, I think it takes you there. The first stage of my life was like this. And father used to, of course, bring a lot of good mythological books, I remember. And he used to just throw open. We were 5 siblings. And I think we used to read there. And those times, of course, there was not so many attractions, I'll call it, of mobile and TVs and all those things. So probably, the family domain was there and certain relatives were there. So that's how it is. I think it was much better. You could remain focused in that manner, or maybe that much of lack of awareness was there. Of course.
Yeah.
Army domain, when we came to army, I think it was a total transformation. From the college life, suddenly you come to the academy, you join. And I remember I joined around afternoon or something, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And next day morning, you were baptized, I think, totally. And when I use the term, you were actually in sync with everything.
Yeah.
It did not take more time, not even 24 hours time, for you to become one. And what had happened? In the night, of course, you had all seniors had asked you to come together, and they were lecturing, and, certain degree of, exercises were also being conducted. And you didn't know who is standing next to you, not even names. You came to know only next day that they were batchmates and all. But you know what happened? We all became one team.
Yeah.
Sudden stroke, without even knowing each other, I forgot about myself. I only became this platoon, this company, and that my team, of course, became important. And that is where the togetherness, cohesivity, synergy, I think, starts developing. That is the culture of, suddenly people ask me in certain talks that what happens? What you will feed that a Jawan who comes from a village or from city, 18 years, 19 years, and suddenly he is selfless. I say we don't do anything, okay. It is just in that rut we all do it. But the culture is such that we all live it like this. And that is where I think the service before self, beyond self, these phenomena, that meaning to life, why a soldier starts behaving like that. Nation is always first. Because my identity is not me as a Jayant Tiwari. My identity is my that small team, that small mission in which my team is going. My team must perform. I think that becomes very important. And that is it's nothing very difficult, of course. It is, I think we all do it. And the same spirit, of course, remains in the corporate teamness and all. And so this is how we get trained. We used to become batchmates. When we get commissioned, I remember after 1.5 years of training at Indian Military Academy in Dehradun, when we get commissioned, you feel very happy. You put on a star and jubilant. You have been allotted some regiments to go to their parent units. And that is the time what happens that when you are very happy, I had written a letter to my unit where I was commissioned into, Gurkha Rifles. And I had written a half page of a demi-official letter. And there was a 3.5 pages of typed reply letter from my senior. And he had given, of course, history and all various things. And in that, there was a line which is so crystal clear in my head even today. And this I'm talking, maybe 20.5 years. And the lines which remain etched in my head was that you have all the reasons to feel happy on being commissioned, on becoming an officer. But one thing you must remember, that this is just a mere successful culmination of your training.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Yeah.
You have successfully completed, you have been given one soldier star on your shoulder. But when you come to the unit now, after this 10-15 days of holidays, you are going to embark on a journey where you will be responsible for the lives of men, of soldiers who will be under you. And that statement, I felt funny. I said, come on, when you're going, people must say, come on, we welcome you happily. But that was a very, very important statement. That, of course, kept my head into thinking as to what is this? And in the beautiful phenomena, when you reach there, these soldiers whom you are leading them, they actually train you to become the leaders. You are their leader, but they're training you, grooming you to become their leader only. It's a wonderful phenomenon. I suppose this is a great issue where, because the culture is that we all belonged to one. We all belong to that color of the uniform. I think that's a beautiful thing. And then you keep moving. You are actually moving in the name of that particular subunit, small company, whatever we call it, for understanding of everyone. And we move through. And life has been, of course, combat arms, wherever there are disturbances, you move across. People talk a lot on the VUCA nowadays. And whereas in army, we actually start working, VUCA is actually below my feet. That is my working platform.
Yeah.
So point is that, it is that I have to feel comfortable in the worst of the circumstances. That's where the probably army or a combat unit is called in for. When you are moving into an operation on a mission, we might have practiced for millions of times. But when you go onto the ground, whatever you have studied, practiced, it never gets replicated in the same manner.
No.
Never. So that is where the innovativeness, the openness in mind. People talk that in the army, people must be very rigid in their thoughts, very hierarchical. Yes, all these things are there in the training time, but your mind has to be absolutely open and at peace, even during war. And that's where it is that, then only you can perform. Because at each step, there are different actions you are supposed to take. And it's a question of life and death. It's a question of not your own life. It's a question of accomplishing that mission for which you are there. So that's where it is. You have to take an action. So I call it peacefulness at war.
Ah, wonderful.
You have to maintain absolute peacefulness. And that's where when I was making a mention about mindfulness, even when the firing is taking place all across, you are in a chaotic zone. There cannot be more chaos. You as a leader need to be absolutely 100% focused and at peace to take a call. And that's I always take a little liberty of saying, not even sages can, have that, because they do not live into that kind of a chaotic environment.
Yeah.
And a soldier needs to maintain that peacefulness. Absolutely. Yeah. Otherwise, he will falter himself. He'll falter his own command. He'll get his mental. So I think that's the mind. And that forced me to go through in detail. I said, wonderful. So another phenomena people talk about, communication, listening. I said, I'm from Gurkha Rifles. And, when the same gentleman who had written that 3.5 pages later on my commissioning, when I went and joined, he gave me a lot of lectures. And one thing again he told, he said, if you need to command a Gurkha or a soldier, you need to exist in his belly.
Yeah.
At 20 years of age, these statements probably are not understood also. So you need to exist. He said, what is he talking? But he said, yes, whether he knows or not, is he hungry? Is he happy? But you as a leader must know as to what is going to happen with him.
Yeah.
You must know about his family. So we used to always carry a small notebook with the entire profile of men under me.
Yeah.
So, that is how the team, that is how the culture gets, I think, built up. It's not, and I always speak when I am delivering a talk outside, that it is not military. It is, I think, every day-to-day life.
Yeah.
It is a belongingness towards humanity, to the cause, to the purpose wherever I am. Even if I'm working in a company, I need to be devoted. After all, that person has reports faith with his policy. If I have certain deviation, something progressive, something good, I must intimate. So this is where it is. And one more thing, I was in United Missions in Iraq. And there I had a lot of opportunity to be with I think 32 countries officers were there. And I was located on the Basra highway on the Iraq side. And that time, of course, things were not so pleasant. And I was nominated as post commander also. We were all in the game for major young officers. And my post was once fired upon in the night. And it was 12 kilometers away. Getting inside the Iraq, people used to be reasonably afraid. And but being from Indian Army, we had faced such issues. And I was a post commander. I put that one of the observer had got one bullet hit. I put him into my car, UN car, and put on my light and a flag. And I drove that 12 kilometers to the border where people were there already. And my force commander was worried. He said, how could you come alone?
Yeah.
I said, well, these are if in India or Indian Army, if I don't do this, I would have been court-martialed, okay?
Yeah.
These are the very small issues which you have to do it. And we got trained. We had a lot of visits. So it was a very great event in the United Nations mission. During course, Army is also not only that we are only into the maybe on the borders and fighting. We care a lot. We are highly emotional. The emotion quotient is of a very high degree. And I always tell people that I use the term military quotient.
I see. Yeah. I have not heard this term before.
Yes, it just, I took that liberty of, being into Army. I just said military quotient.
Yeah.
And I said, why not? What are we seeking for? We talk about IQ, we talk about EQ, we talk about SQ, spirituality quotient, adversity quotient. I said, you name an issue. You name a quotient. I said, as an army man, I live up to highest degree of all these quotients.
Yeah.
I say it is not to underplay somewhere. It is only I was trying to highlight and not trying to propagate that everyone must join army or something. No. I said it is that experience that it is just a life from where we can learn, and this is a part of one life, and we all have it. Because when we are into an operation, in a mission, the spirituality is not that you are stuck with that. It actually empowers you to move ahead.
Mm.
It does not go to kill people berserk. No, you have to be absolutely be in control. So I think that's what I call it, military quotient. That it is again a very high degree. It is not little powerfulness, but it has like, because the happy this post this painting which is there, I played this, in which you can see a soldier, probably his wife and a child. Their faces are not seen. Whether a soldier is going or coming back home is left to imagination. And I write below this, happiness quotient. I said, this is a probably a soldier. His happiness lies into that, and we brave the challenges. So that is how it is. And what I was saying, that we have been interacting with a lot of civilian population wherever we are, especially where militancy infested areas. And I remember an incident where in northeastern states where a lot of pineapple is grown, and I am specifically referring to state of Tripura.
Yeah.
I was posted there in the rank of a colonel, and in addition to doing my duties, I used to go and interact with the people. And the tribal people, if you go and approach, they knew that this man, by hook or crook, directly, indirectly, actually is wanting to seek information about the militants. So
Yeah.
he must be in some style.
Yeah.
Today, tomorrow, or after 1 month, but he cannot deviate. His mission is that only.
Yeah.
So what happens? They will not come closer to you. So what happens? But what happened that I tried to collect the women folk, most difficult task. Tribal women folk, I never knew their language. They could not understand me. And what mission I did was that pineapple we used to eat and we throw the leaves.
Yeah.
I somehow came to know somewhere that they used to take out the fiber from banana leaves and various leaves and all. It just came to head one day, and I had checked up from people, and then we spoke. I somehow spoke to someone. He said, "Sir, the fiber of pineapple leaves are one of the finest fibers, and in Philippines, every household people are also using it already." So I didn't know this, of course. So my mission was to train. I had sent 4 ladies somehow, over a period of time. It was a very difficult mission to, bring them together, to make them know that the leaves which you are throwing is so good. I got a prototype machine. You had to have some money from the government. It had all hiccups and all. But to cut the story short, I could collect those women. They used to come. I had got the one of the prototype machines where you could put the leaf and take out the raw fiber, and you could wash it. And I still have certain rugs placed on that. And it was absolutely first time ever in India. Of course, we cannot continue being in the army. We leave it to the government and all. I don't know whether they are doing it or not, but we have so much of potential.
Yeah.
So we end up. I'm in touch with those tribal women on and off sometimes. So we all do it. One has been affiliated into various things. What I'm trying to bring it out that we all have a similar life, being a human being. We all with so much of abundant potential. It is up to me, it's which direction I want to take my life. If I'm happy with my life, it's okay. You can be there. Or you can be there, enlighten yourself, speak to people. If you are going and talking to 10 people, you need to be little aware. You need to be so-called, people call it, vulnerable. So you have to create challenge. You will be probably more happier into that. And when I made a mention about that, I always tell people that how is it that, the military culture and our rest of the culture are similar. I said in military, like, we always have a meaning to life, beyond self. It is not that we have been told to have a meaning to life, but the life becomes like that. I think we all have that. We all have that in us. Togetherness, cohesivity, whether team, whether it is in family, operational excellence, the commitment, vision. This is a part and parcel of everyone's life. Discipline is a very integral part of everyone. Possibility mindset or a winning mindset. What is in army? Either it is possibility or a challenge, and there is nothing third. I think that is an approach which most of us have it. It is how you look at it. It is the leadership. It is self, and of course, it has to be humanized. I call it. It has to be human-based leadership. Happiness quotient. You must accept those challenges as a way of life. Otherwise, one can keep cribbing and be at it. That's also there. And of course, finally, we all live for the nation. The way you call it. So I said that, we all are thinking in a similar manner. So where it is. So I probably have taken a lot of time, and I feel that, in my childhood, when I thought that I want to get on to probably army, I joined army. During college times, I probably thought of, thinking of reading as to why things happen like this. Today, I'm actually doing it. So, and my first portion of my life was probably getting embodied with certain inputs, probably having various directions. Second part was life was given a direction, certainly. But there I was executing it, learning it, action oriented it was. A lot of things were coming into that. A lot of, emotionalities, a lot of hardcore actions were taken. And after that, probably today is the time when I'm revisiting my entire life and seeing as to how things happened like that. Is it useful for the society? Yes, it is so wonderfully useful. And that's why I call that I'm into so-called, like, if I take that liberty of saying, I'm wanting to be in the awareness zone. I cannot say that I'm in awareness zone. And I wish everyone great innings, and thanks for listening my so-called, experiences, or I only hope that people have been able to take certain values out of it, that we all are highly capable people. There's nothing which is not possible, whether it is medically, whether it is physically, whether it is mentally, whether it is spiritually. I think everything is feasible, and we all can move together. I think my only last culminating words could be there, that we are part of the nature.
Yeah.
I think and I get a lot of solace. Today when we go, he said, people are worked up. So he said, let's go for a holiday. Families go for holidays. They go to the mountains. They go to this resort. What is that? It is actually that nature gives you that soothing feeling. It actually exists today. So nature, we are part of the nature, whether it is larger consciousness or the nature what we see to it. I think we must preserve it. It is nature. And of course, we are at a stage where we all know it. We need to feel that I'm part of this nature, and we need to respect that. And of course, in India, we worship trees. So it's nothing from that perspective. I think our ancestors, people were very knowledgeable on that account, that I think we need to respect that. And I'm not the end all. I think the nature will define the course. I think we all need to respect. And second is that I think your own parents, your own siblings are the best people to learn from. I think they are selfless in defining that. You all are great, blessed people. So thanks a lot, Mr. Subodh. I think it was so wonderful to have this.
Jayantji, thank you so much for somewhat unexpected philosophical look at life. And one doesn't expect that these days. No, I won't say from army people. I would say these days it's very difficult to hear a philosophical look at life and a comparison of, who you are, inner self, and all these kind of things. One doesn't hear much. So thank you so much. Let me just say that, do you want to add anything else to conclude?
I only want to say that life is a blessing, and we all must live it. When I'm saying, don't look at that, I'm a military man, so I need to talk like this. No. We all have the bundle of so-called problem disturbances. We all have it, but this is part and parcel of life. Take it life as a blessing and live it. Create your own life. There's no one else is going to create a life for you. And that is where Mr. Swod, that is the biggest learning today, and I want to drop it. The concept of conversational style which you have adopted. I think how much I know myself.
Yeah.
If you tell someone, speak 10 lines about yourself. It's simple exercise.
Yeah.
Every day morning, write 5 lines, forget about 10 lines. Morning, get down and open your notebook and write 5 lines about yourself. We will find that we will probably laugh at ourselves. That do I not know myself? I think that's the most beautiful, that we need to be self-aware. More we are, I suppose, we are more at peace. So I think it's a wonderful blessing life
All right,
is.
good. Let's end it here today. I think we have heard quite a bit, and it's very interesting and powerful. So let's end it here. I'll be back with another young person or an expert, and I'll talk to you offline. So till then, bye everybody.
Thank you.